We're back. We're gonna get to the second portion of the pod. First up, Giannis says he will never request a trade from Milwaukee. Evan, what was your reaction to that?
I mean, it's kind of known that that was his most likely his thought in the beginning, but I think just hearing it finally put into words and plastered on the internet has made it a lot better. And Shem's been a lot quiet since, but surprise. Sorry, my internet's kind of shoddy. You good? Hear me? Okay, my internet kind of broke out, but no, definitely good to hear Giannis finally talk about it more publicly, especially to reporters, not just like him saying it himself, or doing like a small gesture during a game or something that kind of indicates it. But now a lot more reassuring that he finally come out and said it, and just basically putting the words that a fan has known for a few years now. I feel like.
Yeah, and by the way, for all these ESPN reporters, it's not illegal for a player to put feelers out, right? Like, I think that's where people get this misconstrued, where he never requested a trade from Milwaukee. He never formally asked out of Milwaukee. He was putting some feelers out because I think there was a portion of them that figured out, well, this team might not contend this year. Okay. The contention window might be closed. So let's see where the contention window, let's see where this takes me. Okay. It's kind of like when it's kind of like when you're shopping like around a little bit. And I think Giannis has been very careful about what he's been saying. Like, when he said in one of these interviews, it's like, as long as I'm here, and I know fans get mad at that, but it's like, look, he doesn't want to say anything definitive and, risk alienating the fan base. Okay, so I think that's why he's being extremely careful about, as long as I'm here and stuff, then, like, but again, he's never said I will, like, as long as they want me, I will be here. But and I don't think he's lied about that. He's never lied about that. Like, and granted, no matter what happens this summer, we had like 12 great years with him. We had 12 great years for a player who, while he was good in Greece, we didn't think he was going to be like this in the NBA. We didn't think he was going to be a top 75 player, a multi-time MVP, a defensive player of the year. Like, there was nobody who that was going to be on their radar. Like, nobody. The Bucks international scouting back in that really bad 2013 draft was just better than everybody else's was. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, the international players won out in that draft, whether it was, Giannis, Rudy Gobert, like Enes Kanter, like I don't know what to tell you. The international players in that particular, I think Enes Kanter actually went 2011. But my point is, like, the players in that draft were, like, the lower end actually ended up having solid careers. But no, you're right. It is good that Giannis finally said something definitive. Look, you guys are keep asking me about it. I'm trying to be as definitive as I possibly can be about it. But, like, I don't know what else you want me to say. I haven't asked for a trade. I'm not going to ask for a trade. Okay. So, I'm trying to put this matter to bed, but then when people ask him about it, like in these random press conferences, like, what else is he supposed to do? In case you guys are watching, Evan's internet has cutouts, and it looks like I don't be doing. So, all right. Well, Evan gets his internet situated. I'm gonna kind of move on to the next topic, and Evan can join in progress. All right. So next up, there's Bobby Portis trade interest. So, in case you guys missed it a little bit, like the Lakers, let's see if I can find some of these teams. Okay. Okay, go to Brent Siegel. There we go. Okay, so the Warriors, Hornets, Suns, and Lakers could be potential landing spots for Bobby Portis, according to Brent Siegel, NBA. Now, we'll have to see how that works because keep in mind, Bobby Portis is the Bucks' sixth man. And, if they're going to trade Bobby Portis, they're going to be right in the middle of a contention window. So, and obviously, unfortunately, Evan is still getting his internet figured out. My opinion about this, first and foremost, is I don't think Milwaukee should make that move in particular, and here's why. I'm just worried about like the players that we're going to be trying to give up should try to remain in this contention window. Like that's the part that would worry me like a little bit. Because like if you want to give up Portis and Kyle Kuzma, like by all means go ahead, but like if it's going to be Portis, Kuzma, and a 2031 draft pick, I would not do that like at all. Like that would not be good. Evan, are you back?
I'm back. Sorry.
Okay. Sorry. So the topic that I was on. So the Hornets, the Warriors, the Suns, and the Lakers are potential landing spots for Bobby Portis. What do you think? Should Milwaukee trade BP?
It's one of those things where it's more of like in the long run, it's probably going to help him a lot more. But like at this standpoint, it's one of those things where he's just so loved here where it's people are going to somehow freak out about it, but not really look at it in the sense of this could help them down the road and not just enjoy it for the Bobby chance and all that kind of stuff. Because that's really what it's here for. Like the instigating and being able to hype the crowd up, which a lot of guys are able to do based off of game situations. I think best thing to do if they were to trade him is just to make sure that what they're trading him for is a potential upgrade or being able to still help them out role play wise. Just because a lot of the trades I've seen are just Kuzma, 3 guys and a pick for 1 player where it's all right, well, now you're trading your entire bench. So what are you going to do in that situation? So if you're going to trade him, I just feel like you're going to have to get someone who is going to be able to not only be better or be able to consistently make up for what Bobby might lack, defensive, anything like that. But now it's just got to be a good package, I think, overall.
And I just thought about this. If they trade Bobby Portis, that is the last player outside of Giannis gone from that championship team. Like, there will be no players left from that championship team.
Yeah, Thanasis, but...
I'm talking... okay,
major contributors. Yes.
Actual contributors to the championship team.
Yes.
Because look,
yeah, it's just those two.
Yeah, look, I love the nasty, but I'm like, all right, well, okay, not 15 guys on the bench, okay, guys who actually contributed to the championship team. Like, although here's what I will say, I guess like the nasty, he did, those 30 seconds that Budenholzer would sometimes stick him in there in those playoff runs. You know what? He made a small
right at the end of the half.
Yeah, you know what? That's a contribution. I'll count that. So, all right, maybe I won't throw Thanasti in there since he did make a very, very small contribution, by a 1-point game crossed up by Kyrie Irving. You can't knock that type of hustle.
Exactly.
But look,
one play led him to that situation.
Yeah, I got that right. No, but my thing is like, look, I think the fan base wanted Bobby trade for years because he's not a very efficient player and he allows like a lot of offensive rebounds. And he's not very good on defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be honest, the Bucks are giving up a lot more lob dunks than I remember them giving up when Brook Lopez was there, and that's literally just because of the fact that, whether it's Miles Turner, whether it's, Bobby Portis tries to do too much on the defensive end to where they commit too early, and then they just allow like either a backdoor or a lob dunk and stuff like that. And I just don't remember that really being the case when Lopez was there. because Lopez can clean up a lot of those mistakes, but that is not the case with either Portis or Miles Turner. Those two are very much net negatives defensively. And I just think that when you're like, when you got to think about like, well, we really want to upgrade the roster. All right, well then like get like a rebounder or like get someone who can like defend maybe at a similar level than Lopez did. Because I got to be honest, Giannis being an older player, like he will slow down like eventually, and he's not going to be able to cover up as much holes as he used to be able to. And honestly, the reason why like Brook Lopez was honestly the reason why that defense was like top 5 because he could rebound, like he could defend. He like you did not mess with Brook Lopez at the rim, and he was very smart and cerebral about like being like preventing some of those lob dunks. And you know, him and Giannis together were just like a wrecking crew, along with Drew Holiday. So, you know, you just have to kind of think of like if you want to go like a score or something like that. All right, but that's not going to help you defensively. And I think that's where Milwaukee's got to think at this stage, where it's like, all right, we'll think what's going to help defensively, and then go from there. Next up, because I saw this being kind of rumored or floated out there, stuff like that. The Bucks have shown interest in Jalen Green. No, and here's why. Now, here's what I read first. First, I read that the Suns are not going to be giving up Jalen Green because they kind of seem
I saw that
a young cornerstone piece or whatever. But the second thing is, I'm all right. Well, okay, because Kevin Porter Jr. is a score first guard. Jalen Green is way more of a score first guard than Kevin Porter Jr. is. So I'm like, without even watching, like let me look up Jalen Green's stats to see like how he's been doing.
I don't think he's played a lot this year.
Really,
if I'm not mistaken.
Let's see. So, you're right. He's not even. No, you're right. He's been out.
Yeah, I think he's only played like 2 games this year.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Wow. Yeah. So really, so you think the Bucks are going to be interested in a guy who's like gets hurt a lot for the most part? Because let's see how many games he's played. Let's see. For the Rockets, he played 67, 76. That is interesting.
Yeah, he plays a lot, but
he does play. Yeah.
He just hasn't played this year.
Yeah. I think off-season surgery, not off-season surgery, excuse me, but like surgery or something.
Yeah, he has a right hamstring strain.
Oh, yep. Those injuries are tricky. Okay, but in the past, yeah, see, Jalen Green, okay, 2 assists, 3 assists, 3 assists, 3 assists, 2 assists per game. So, I don't know if I'm of the mind to be like, you know what? Like, how many?
Because I know we've talked about him in the past, too. Obviously, a G League Ignite guy, which are always iffy. Obviously, he's probably a lot better out of the handful who have made it to the league. He's probably one of the only ones who are still currently in the league.
I was looking at this. He takes, let's see, his first season in Houston, 14 shots a game. Second season, 17 shots a game. Third season, 16 shots per game. Fourth season, 17 shots per game. And Phoenix, it's only at 11. So, no, he's a score first guard. Like, he's a score first guard. A guy who only averages like 3 assists per game and takes like over 10 shots, it's a score first guy. Okay? So, I don't know if that's a fit. And, I mean, does he play defense? I mean, that's my other question, too. Is like, how good of a defender is he? Because what it looks like right now is it looks like he's a very inefficient offensive player, and I don't think that's what Milwaukee needs.
Yeah. It would, again, it's one of those like, oh, you just throw a bigger name out there, but you never know how it's going to play out, especially with Giannis itself. I feel like it would
Yep.
just be trying to get Damian Lillard again. You're going to get a guy who wants to score a lot or take a lot of shots, and someone's going to have to do it or someone's going to have to take a cut. And if you tell Giannis that, hey, Jalen Green is going to take the priority of the shots, just letting you know, it's like, that's just, it doesn't make sense.
I've been speaking of bigger names. I saw this kind of percolating. Ja Morant. The Bucks could be a little interested.
I have also heard that.
Yeah, a little interest in Ja Morant. Yeah, also no. Here's why. I'm not as concerned with the off the court stuff, although, because that was like a huge thing of like, he flashed a gun in an Instagram live, or, he was doing like
hit a minor.
He hit a minor. Yeah, he did punch a minor during a basketball game. Like that did happen.
Yeah,
I'm a little less worried about the off the court stuff. I'm a little more worried about the on the court stuff. He clashed with his coach. Okay. And I mean, I'm gonna be honest. If you're clashing with a younger coach who at the very least you were at least in his corner when he was getting hired, like young star versus older coach, that's never really meshed too well. I'm going to be honest, a guy who's like a me first guy like Ja Morant is, and maybe he's the greatest teammate in the world. I don't know. It's just stuff I've heard. But, I mean, I'm going to give you a couple of examples, Evan. You had Allen Iverson and Larry Brown, and then you had Trae Young and Nate McMillan. Okay. Both those guys very much, like, clash with their coach. And – when you get a younger guy, like that, and Doc Rivers obviously old school, he's not taking a lot of shit from anybody. I don't even know if that would be like a good fit for the culture in Milwaukee, to be quite honest with you. But again, maybe people could change. I didn't like the Kevin Porter Jr. trade either, because I just don't like. I don't mind some off the court issues, but like when it's the off the court issues to where it's like he beat his girlfriend. Yeah, no, that's a hard pass for me. And look, a lot of people could be like, well, everybody deserves a second chance. Sure. But I can separate the fact that Kevin Porter Jr. has been playing really well for Milwaukee, and it sounds like he's turned his life around because early on in his career, it sounded like he had some anger issues. Okay. And those are issues in Cleveland and in Houston. That's why he had to play in another country, I think in 2022, because, he was going to get suspended for hitting his girlfriend or beating his girlfriend. But again, I've separated those two. Okay. Do I think he's kind of shitty for doing that? Yes, absolutely. Anytime you hit a woman, lay your hands on a woman, I'm automatically just think you're a shitty person. Okay. But, however, Ja Morant, I mean, again, flashing his guns on Instagram Live and, hitting a child during a pickup game. I just want to know, what are we just going for? Because my thing is, I want us to go for high quality individuals. Okay. And I'm sorry, but if you hit a child during a pickup game, I'm sorry if I'm going to question, I'm sorry if I'm going to question your character a little bit. I'm just going to. All right. It's one thing if you get pulled over, but again, hitting a child and flashing a gun on Instagram Live, I'm sorry if I'm going to question your character. I just am. And also, I just think Milwaukee, by doing that, would be giving up way too much. Way too much. Okay? Because they're going to give up at least Kuzma and Portis and a draft pick. And again, why are we giving up a 2031 draft pick to try to remain in this BS contention window so that you don't have the rest of the fan base hate us, John Horst?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to give up Giannis, give up Giannis when his trade value is the highest. Okay? Because it's really going to be worse when we're giving up every conceivable asset and the team still doesn't win anything, and you keep Doc Rivers as your coach. Okay?
Yep.
That's the situation we're in right now. We're 4 games under 500. This team can barely beat the freaking Kings and the Hornets, and you want to give up every asset so that we can get better. For what? For what? A play-in spot? I'm really just trying to understand the rationale behind. It's like, look, I don't care what ownership's directive is. Rebuild. It's time to rebuild. Okay. Evan, throughout this whole process, we've thrown out at least 10 names that Milwaukee's interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 5 or 10, excuse me. Whether it's been Zach LaVine, whether it's been Jeremy Grant, whether it's been Ja Morant, whether it's been Jalen Green, whether it's been,
Kuminga, Trey Murphy, all those.
Herb Jones,
yep.
So many names. And none of them get Milwaukee to where they want to go. And you know what that means? That means it's time to rebuild. Okay? Zach LaVine's not getting you back to the promised land. I promise you that. The players that Milwaukee is rumored to have interest in, they're not getting you back to where they want to go. Trust me, I've watched them. I know these players. They're not getting you back to where you want to go.
Yeah, those are the trades where it's we are one player out of, being a true title contender, then you make that trade. But this would just have no further effect.
You're putting a Band-Aid on a dam that's about to explode. That's what you're doing. Okay? This Band-Aid's the problem. And you know what? Honestly, if Milwaukee does make a trade for this, the other reason why I'm going to be mad, for them to truly get back to where they want to go, you know how long it's going to take for them to do that?
It's going to be 5 years where they're just figuring out what to do.
To recoup some assets, literally, we're literally going to have to blow the entire thing up. We're going to have to fire the coach and the GM. That's literally the thing that we would have to do. They would legitimately have to blow up their entire front office just so that they can maybe get back to where they want to go. Because trust me, I don't know what John Horst is doing. I don't know why ownership continues to be we can't lose Giannis. We can't lose Giannis. We can't lose Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well then look, either make a trade or actually don't make a trade. Maybe recoup some assets. Go from there. We don't need to keep – I just don't think we need to keep putting a Band-Aid on the problem when it's clearly the team is just not good.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been watching this team for 3 or 4 months. The team is not good. They're struggling against really bad teams.
Yeah, lost to the Wizards twice.
Exactly. So it's just stop just putting a stick and a Band-Aid over the problem and just just try to get some draft picks back at least. That's a if you want to trade Kuzma or Portis, fine. Get a draft pick back at least.
Yeah.
Get at least trade your tradable assets. All right. Let's see.
Because I did see them come out saying that Ryan Rollins is not part of trade talks. So whenever they're trade Kuzma, Portis, and Rollins, I heard Rollins is out of it, which is nice because that's a good guy to build around. KPJ is another one of those where it sucks to have. It would be one of them either way, but I would obviously rather trade Kevin Porter Jr. Unfortunately, which is hard to say just because he's been so well, but Rollins has been super consistent throughout the year itself.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, and I think they've said that with the Ja Morant stuff, where it's no, we're not giving up Ryan Rollins for Ja Morant. We're not doing that. So, all right. Final topic of the day: Peter Feigin announced he is stepping down as Bucks president. What was your reaction to that?
Kind of stinks, just because obviously we've had him for so long, and I feel like things have. The last, I want to say, it's already 2026. I want to say the last 10 years or so have been phenomenal with where they've been able to put themselves for the late 2010s and then obviously into the early 2020s with the championship and the multiple playoff runs, obviously some not ending how we wanted to, but it just kind of sucks that there's so many things where you don't really take it for granted, but then when it's over, it's over. So I was a little surprised just because it kind of came at a random time, but it's one of those things where if you're not happy with the situation, you might as well just kind of slowly fade out when you can instead of just kind of sticking around a little too long when, maybe there is a better time to just fade out. But no, it sucks because obviously the owners and presidents and GMs have been great the last decade or so. So it sucks to see things change. This could be a great thing, or it might not be, but no, it's a little surprising just because it again came at a random time.
Yeah, and then they announced that I think Josh Glassing from the Hasbro Sports Group's going to take over, and every Bucks fan with the pulse like, oh shit, how's he gonna f this up? By the way, and here's the other thing too. I think people seem to have confused with what the role of a team president is, because I did see somebody say, "All right, well, Josh, your first goal should be to fire Doc Rivers." I was like, "Well, that is not
the job.
Not what a team president does. He does not I promise you this. A team president, really depending on different organizational roles, a team president's job is to not make personnel decisions. I think he can be informed, right? I think they can maybe I think they're going to inform him that's happening, but that's not his job for him to sit down and be like, yeah, well, look, we're going to let you go. Think of it I don't even know if this is a good comparison. Think of it I feel like this might be a Rick Schlesinger type role. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe they're two completely different things, but based on what it looked like his role was, yeah, it didn't look like one of his roles was being involved in personnel decisions. Maybe his jobs are merchandise and all that other stuff, but I don't think it was. I don't think he was.
Leave it to the GM for all that kind of stuff.
Well, nowadays it's ownership.
Yeah,
ownership, and then with really depending on, because I don't know Bucks organizational structure, so I don't really know who makes those decisions. I would assume it's ownership. And then, John Horst probably is the one who makes the final call on it.
Yeah.
It's probably a directive from ownership. If Doc Rivers are going to get fired, I think it would just be look, John, I think this is probably the best decision for the franchise. John is going to be the one to execute that. But who knows? I don't know what the organizational structure is. It does suck. I don't know anything about Josh Glassing. I'm a little nervous that he is from the Haslam tree of things. But again, whatever the Bucks however they do in the next 4 or 5 years, I'm not going to blame the team president because I really don't care that much.
Yeah.
He's
a Wisconsin native, though.
He is a Wisconsin native, so that's good to hear. But really, I'm not going to be like, oh, my God, they got rid of Giannis because of our team president. I don't really care. That's not going to play a role in the thing. I don't think there's most Bucks fans. I bet you most Bucks fans, I don't even know if, we'd be able to know who Peter Feigin was or what he did on a day-to-day basis. I think they'd be able to heard the name. But they'd be, oh, Peter Feigin, team president. It's no. They know who the ownership is, they know who the GM is, and they know the coach. Those are 3 important roles that you need to know. So, you got anything else on tap tonight? Is the Bucks do play in Denver, correct? 7 p.m.
Yep. Yeah, the last of their West Coast trip, but only at 7 p.m. So not the 9:30 from the other day. Yeah,
and as you mentioned, as kind of has been talked about before, is the Nuggets will be a little light in the front court. They lost their 2 centers within a couple of days of each other. So they're not going to have Nikola Jokic, and they're not going to have Jonas Valanciunas. He also got hurt as well. So they still have Jamal Murray, but again, they're going to be very, very light in the front court. So hopefully Miles Turner can, go off in this particular game.
Maybe get a field goal this one.
Yep. So we can hope. So, all right. Thank you guys for tuning in to this edition of the Milwaukee Bucks on Tap podcast, and we will see you guys next week.